All right, a little bit of a different setup here. Johan is,
Yeah.
but the same guys, really. Johan Warren Holtz, Phoenix Magazine marketing director. I'm Matt Johnson, the director of digital content. And I kind of slapped together the studio. Johan, I've been in like writing and production and stuff like that in my past, but just like producing the stuff that people say on air and that people write in the magazine. But I've never been like set design until today, I guess. So
Hey man, I think you're doing a great job for just trying out the first time. I think this is fun.
I appreciate
the
that.
headphones are a nice touch. I'm like very in my head.
Yeah. You can hear me okay, right? We're doing fine here.
Yeah,
It's the Arizona Craft Beer Awards and Festival Review Channel. And today we decided to get, all fancied up here because our friends at Arizona Wilderness sent us 3 awesome beers to try out. The one, 2 of them were released last week, and one I think maybe the week before, kind of one they've had. We'll introduce that first one that they have.
Well, let's introduce our guest real quick.
We'll get Zach here on the here joining us because he's the one who sent us this Arizona Watermelon Goza. That one they had on in February when we were last there. This pistachio shake, I know you love that one, right? And then this new chill cucumber watermelon lager. And so the guy who sent it to us, Zach Fowle, you're the marketing director over there at Wilderness, Zach?
Yep, that's me.
Well, welcome. We appreciate you joining us, zooming in here. We usually just sit in a conference room and we drink beers and we kind of give our thoughts. So it's kind of cool to have a guest, right?
Yeah, no, it's very exciting, especially Wilderness, where we're big fans. And so we're excited to be tasting these for the first time.
Not my first time. He sent us a 6-pack and there's only 3 in front of us.
Man. So I don't think I've had the cucumber watermelon, the chill. So I'm excited about that because that's a nice combination of flavors. But I mean, the watermelon goza is like one of those like Arizona staple beers at this point. Everybody knows it and everybody loves it. And the pistachio shake is like, I just had one the other day before the baseball game, and it was just
nice. Yeah, at the downtown location. Then awesome. Well, I had one last night too, so let's pour that one open first because it's a double IPA. Zach, what inspired you to send us the 6-pack?
You wrote about pistachio shake, a very nice article last year, calling it one of the best beers in Arizona, and I have to concur with you.
It was one that I wanted year round, right?
Yeah, that was it. Unfortunately, we can't really do that because pistachios are sort of seasonal. There's a cool story behind this one. Our founders, John and Pat, were out hiking in the wilderness a few years back and came across on top of this hill, and below them they saw all like this grove of trees. And they're like, "What is growing down there?" So they hiked down to where these trees were growing and found that they were pistachios. And they're like, I didn't even know pistachios grew here in Arizona. And they talked to the farmers and were able to kind of collect a whole bunch of these nuts and use them in a beer. And it's the rest is history.
Really got a fantastic aroma on it. One that you don't get with normal beers. It's got to be that lactose that comes off of that.
There's a lot of lactose in there. There's some vanilla bean. There is some marshmallow fluff. So this is kind of a collaboration with a local Gilbert company called Toasted Mallow. Their dessert shop, and they do a lot of s'mores, ice cream, and that related stuff. So they send us a giant jug of marshmallow fluff that we throw into the beer, and we feel that works really well with the pistachios that we use.
Yeah, I've had. Have you had Toasted Mallow before?
I have.
Awesome. You're pretty close there, right? In Gilbert.
I am, yeah.
Great desserts. They've won Best of the Valley a couple of years.
I think what I love about this beer is the versatility of what you can like drink it with. So I had it with, dinner the other night, and it was really good with that sort of savory, it's not a dessert beer in that sense, but you can also drink it as a dessert beer because it has those like sweeter flavor profiles. And so it's this really nice combination of, it pairs beautifully with like a burger, but it also, is perfect for after dinner or even with like a scoop of ice cream. And like, you don't get a lot of beers that are like that.
No,
like
beer,
one or the other.
Beer rarely goes with ice cream. You're right.
So it's just like, I think that's what I love so much about it. It's got, that hot profile, but it's also sweet, and that that lactose gives it that milky mouth feel, and it's the whole package, man. You guys crushed it with this. I'm telling you, it's so good.
Appreciate that. Yeah, this is definitely one of our favorite beers that comes out every year, and we're already sold out of it in cans. Just a few more kegs left because people really enjoy it.
I was able to find a 4-pack because the day you sent it to me, I was doing a media thing down in downtown Phoenix, and I stopped by Wilderness for lunch, and they had 4-packs at the downtown location. That was Tuesday. So we're recording this on Thursday. They could very well be gone, but they were there on Tuesday. So nice. If anyone's still looking for it, if not, I got some in my fridge I might be willing to share to the right person.
Share that with me.
So yeah,
that's what I'm saying.
The price is right.
And you guys updated the can art and the logo on this one this year. I know on my blog I'd put a different picture. That was the one from last year, but cool. Yeah. Really cool design here. Tell me a little bit about do you do that, or do you have somebody there at Wilderness that comes up with these?
So we have an in-house designer who started with us about a year and a half ago. Her name is Anais, and she has been kind of taking all of our older brands and kind of bringing them into the modern era. So we did outsource a lot of the kind of old packaging. We had a buddy who we worked with to do some of our graphic design, but now Anais is working here on full-time staff, and she's taking the reins. She's our brand manager, so she does all of the kind of the brands, the aesthetics of Arizona Wilderness is kind of under her purview. So she's been taking all of those old cans and kind of just revamping them. So with this one, the old package had a tree on it, some nuts, and some marshmallows kind of thrown about to play on that idea of like to get pistachios out of a tree. You shake them literally, just kind of vibrate the tree to make all the nuts fall off, and that's kind of the play on words there, pistachio shake, kind of a double entendre. But because this beer is so kind of, as you mentioned, dessert-like and kind of flavorful in that sense, we wanted to really emphasize that you're getting like a pistachio ice cream flavor out of this thing. So that's the new logo, is just kind of more focused on what kind of flavors you're going to get out of this rather than the ingredients that went into it.
Sure. And Johan, so you mentioned, or Zach mentioned the Toasted Malo. Wilderness is great for all their local collaborations. The Agritopia farm stuff that they source all the citrus from those nearby farms, and
the chocolate.
The chocolate from Zach's Chocolate. You guys use them a lot. So a lot of local goes into every Arizona Wilderness beer. So really, really fantastic to see all the work that they've been doing now it's going to be 9 years coming up next week. So,
and the story you told about them being out in the wilderness and coming upon, the pistachio trees, I feel like that's very typical of a lot of origin stories behind a lot of your beers. Is like, your Pine Mountain Sour, you guys all go out and harvest all these spruce tips, and then, the Aravaipa, you guys have like a Aravaipa double. And so, that's named after the canyon. And like, there's that I love that angle you take where it's purely Arizona. It's, Arizona ingredients. It's such for someone who's proud to be from here, like, man, it's hard not to love your brand, because it's just so like just so purely Arizona, and I love that.
Yeah, well, I think a lot of people who live outside the state, and even a lot of people who do live here, don't really see everything that Arizona can offer in terms of, you can drive 45 minutes and be in a completely different environment than we are right now. You can go up to the mountains and go on these beautiful trails and see just like, just rolling hills of green, versus like everyone thinks of Arizona and they just think it's like flat, dead desert, right?
Yeah.
And we have all of these farmers out here growing amazing crops, and we have even our own foods that grow right here that we can pick off on our own when we're camping and use those in beer. So it's really it's a diverse state, and we try to kind of showcase that in every beer that we make.
I love that.
So I heard that a rumor, Wilderness likes to go out to those beer fests out at east the Bell Bank Park, because you guys can pick some of the ingredients out there, right? Is that right, or is that just a rumor, right?
I think
because it's so far out there. I told that joke really bad just now. It came out better when we were out at the beer fest, and I told my wife, I'm like, I think Wilderness can pick ingredients for the next beer out here. Anyways, next beer. Why don't you choose? What do you want to do here?
Let's do the chill. I haven't
All right.
had it.
Be careful with that. I did drop it, so open it carefully.
While I'm pouring it, why don't we chat about 9th anniversary?
Yeah. Maybe so Zach, you came to the Valley and you were with Four Peaks, correct? Before you went to Wilderness.
Up until about a year ago.
Yeah, and then you've been with Wilderness since, and you are, what is your, I've seen you on the Cicerone list. What is your level of Cicerone?
So I am an advanced Cicerone currently, which would be the 3rd level up, just under the master.
All right, perfect. Have you done beer judging competitions before?
Oh yeah, definitely. I used to do a lot of them with the Arizona Homebrewers Society. I've done a few kind of outside groups as well. When the Can Fest that was on for the past few years, I would always participate in that as well.
American.
Yeah, American.
I think that was the last judging, Johan, that Arizona kind of did like a judging competition. It was American. So yeah, we're revitalizing that. We're bringing it back with the Arizona Craft Beer Awards coming up in October. We're going to do our judging in September. This? Yeah. The set that I put up behind us, the reason for these videos and podcasts, right? By the way, on YouTube, Instagram, ACBA Fest, Phoenix Magazine YouTube channel, and the Phoenix Magazine podcast. So,
Matt, I always thought we just did these beer reviews because we liked beer.
Yeah. Well, we don't like beer enough because we still have, look at that. We still in the corner, still like 4 boxes of beer sitting over there that we haven't gone through. A little bit of a break the last couple of weeks dealing with Best Fest and all that. Great time that night. That Johan, cheers to Johan for Best Fest. Thank you for that.
So real quick, Zach. So you when did you move to Arizona? Are you a native?
I've been here since 2006. I came for school and just kind of never left.
Awesome. And so you really got to witness the growth of the Arizona beer industry from the very beginnings.
Absolutely. Yeah, there were just to my perspective, there were only a few breweries like in the state when I moved in, and everything has just exploded since then.
Yeah. So you guys are going to now celebrate your 9th anniversary, which, to me, I always remember best new brewery in the world in 2014 by ratebeer.com.
Yep.
If I remember correctly. And so you guys have come a long way and you've made a lot of great beers. And so tell us a little bit about what you got going on for your 9th anniversary.
Doesn't that make you feel a little old thinking that was 9 years ago?
9 years ago. Yeah. I remember you could only used to get growler fills at Wilderness back when it first opened, and now they're cans. You can find them everywhere.
Yeah. Times are a changing. So for our 9th anniversary, we are releasing 9 different beers. Connectivity there. That's marketing, baby.
I see.
And it's basically every day from September 1st to September 5th, we're going to be doing at least one new beer. We'll be splitting them between our Gilbert and downtown Phoenix locations for most of them. And then on Sunday, we will be doing a special event at our Woodnote cellar, which is where I am right now. That is our kind of barrel aging and wild ale facility. So we keep everything separate from the main brewery. It's located right across the street from the Gilbert brewery. And we're going to be showcasing 4 different wild ales or sour beers and at that event. So that's from 1 to 4 on Sunday. And then live music, new merch. We're bringing back some of our most requested menu items that we have taken off over the years. So the After the Hike burger, which we unfortunately had to remove from the menu recently, that's coming back.
The OG one?
The OG After the Hike.
With the pork belly?
Oh, yeah.
I think you got a customer here. I think Johan might be lined up an hour before.
My favorite burger of all time, period, end of story, no competition at all. So I will be there.
Awesome.
That's amazing.
That's going to be the entire month. That'll be available, and then for the week that we're doing our anniversary, we're also bringing back the Western Burger and the mushroom and beer cheese burger, and then we are also introducing brunch at our downtown Phoenix location. Starting this weekend, but we'll be continuing it through the anniversary celebration. So we're going to open up 9 a.m. From 9 to 2. We have 5 new brunch items: chicken and waffles, avocado toast, the best chili relleno I've ever had, and a few other things are going to be available. Some live music from DJs, some mimosa and Bloody Mary specials, all at the downtown spot.
Is that brunch going to continue on in perpetuity or just for the month?
That will continue on. Yep.
So all the people that are waiting up the street for the 5-hour wait for breakfast bitch are going to just come to you instead.
Exactly. That's the plan.
I love it.
Yeah, and
The demand is there. The demand is there.
That's really important to you guys. You're not just a brewery, but you're a brew pub, and the food is just as equally important, right?
Definitely. I think that's one of the things that kind of has made us stand out among a lot of breweries, not just in Arizona but nationwide, is that we don't phone the food in at all, and we follow along our ethos with the beers is the same as with the food. So we use as many local ingredients as we can. Organic, grass-fed beef. Our chicken and waffles, the grain for that comes from Oatman Farms, which is Arizona's only organic, regenerative, certified farm. A lot of the herbs and some of the veggies that we use are made from Recycled City, who we partner with for our composting. So it's all this kind of closed loop, locally sourced food that just, I think when you try it next to your standard stuff, it really stands out and it's elevated above.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we're having Chill. Let's talk a little bit about Chill. Released last week, 5.2% ABV American lager, and I really like. And we talked about the aroma on the pistachio shake. You get so much good aroma on this. It's cucumber, which you recognize, but then you're like, all right, let me read a little bit more. And then the watermelon. So you get both of those, right? And it's really they just blend so well together that it's a fantastic aroma that you don't get on very many other beers. I mean, this is it. You get both of it, and the taste actually backs it up too.
Yeah, and what I like about cucumber and watermelon is that typically they're not like overpowering flavors. They're subtle but like recognizable, and I think that's one of the reasons why the watermelon goes is so good, is because it's not like it's not overpowering, it's not overwhelming, and this one is exactly that. It's just super refreshing. It's like drinking one of those like aguas frescas of like a little cucumber in there and a little watermelon, and super crushable. I mean, this is pool beer to the top tier pool beer. Right?
There might not be a better pool beer than a cucumber, like a cucumber Kolsch or a cucumber lager. This is a fantastic one. So Zach, I found the online description. Each sip is like a spa day for your mouth. Do you write those?
I do.
Nice.
Amazing.
Nice. You could. I mean, we might have an opening here pretty soon at the magazine, or if you could freelance for us, that would be great, right?
I've always said that people who write the beer descriptions have to be like very creative writers, because I've read some beer descriptions that are like poetry, man. Like it's like out of a J.R.R. Tolkien book. Like it's a fun. That's got to be a fun, creative part of your job. Is like, how do I get to?
One of the best things I get to do is try these beers like before they're out into the market, and I'm sitting and tasting with the brewers, and we're talking about the flavors and their kind of approach to everything, and thinking about the ways that I can make this communicate what's going on in this beer to people. And when I tasted this one, I was just like, man, that like I feel like I should be leaning back, like there's a towel on my head, I'm getting massaged, there's cucumbers on my eyes, and I'm listening to like some really soothing music, and I'm just like
the Tibetan singing bowls.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
there's a lot of white towels and linens involved with that, and maybe some palm fronds, and fantastic beer, easily crushable around the pool. Really, really, and I want to chill out now.
Yeah.
That's what I want to do.
So actually, what you just said made me think of something. So you write all these descriptions, you taste the beers with the brewers to get an idea of how to describe them to the public. Do you think that being a advanced cicerone like is an advantage that maybe other breweries don't have a marketing director that is that advanced in their beer palate? Like, do you think that helps you communicate it better?
Yeah, good question.
I would say so. Yeah, I think understanding the flavors, like how to actually pick out individual flavor notes out of a beer and how to communicate that to somebody is a pretty invaluable skill in the beer marketing realm. And I really admire the breweries who do a really good job of it. Of like when you're tasting a beer and you see the flavor notes that they've written, and you're like, yes, like I didn't. There are certain things sometimes you taste it and you're like, what is that? And then you read their description, you're like, exactly, that is, mint leaves or, hay or something like that. The people who have the ability to pull those notes out and communicate those to people are really, that's a unique skill that not a lot of folks have, I think.
And I think you make a good point of being able to communicate them, because as, being around a lot of, beer experts, brewers, things like that, you start to get the lexicon, you start to get the terminology, like diacetyl and all these like words that to the layman doesn't
those
mean
I'm
it.
still not getting.
Right. But like you start hearing all these words. I'm not saying I know what they are. I'm just saying I hear them. And like, so as an advanced, person with an advanced palate, to be able to then say, okay, now I'm going to communicate it to the everyday beer drinker that doesn't know what those things. I think that's a big skill set. Is how do you not dumb it down, but how do you like communicate it in a way that's easy for anyone to understand and not like these weird words or kind of vague sort of descriptions. So I think that's a credit to you and other beer marketing professionals like you that are able to communicate that in a way that people can just read it and be like, yeah, that's exactly what I've been tasting.
Yeah, thanks,
and not have to pull up a dictionary just to to understand the description.
So Zach, as we poured this last one, this Goza, do you get to brew the beers at all?
I haven't participated in any brew days here at Wilderness yet. A lot of the kind of coming up with ideas for beers is kind of my involvement, but the actual like nitty gritty of getting in there, I have not yet had the pleasure.
Yeah, it's not like they need another one. They got fantastic people, right? Like Patrick and Jonathan and Ashley over there. They brew all kinds of stuff. And you introduced us to a couple of people. I didn't get their names out at Camp Coolship, and they were doing this really awesome event. If you've never been or seen a Camp Coolship in person, they just bring this big old like box looking thing on a back of a trailer, put it out, and they put it out at the Agritopia Farms. Last when was that? Was that in January or February? And they just put all this freshly brewed hot beer, freshly brewed that day, out into this big tray, and it collects wild yeast, and that turns into the Camp Coolship beers because it's airborne, like the wild airborne yeast.
That's how it all used to be brewed, right? It's like you didn't have. I was recently in Scotland and I was touring all these castles there, and you go into their like brew house and it's just these open vats, like stone pools essentially that they would brew their beer in. And it was like, you go back to something like the German purity law, and it dictates that beers have to have like water, grain, and hops. They don't even mention yeast because when they wrote the law, they didn't even know that that's what the thing was that was doing the thing, right? And then when they brewed beer, it was always by where they made bread, and so that's why you have those like bready flavors in those beers, because they were basically getting the yeast from the bread making that they were doing right next to it. And so I love that you guys do that Camp Coolship, because it's such an homage to like the origins of beer. Like you just don't get any more like raw historical beer.
Primitive. Right? Like the Liver King would be proud right now.
And if we're talking about, beers that really exemplify like the flavors of Arizona, Camp Coolship is pretty as much dialed in on that as we can get, because we're driving it out to the Mogollon Rim, to the Dugas Wilderness, to these orchards around here, and each of them has their own kind of unique microflora and bacteria kind of just floating in the wind. And each of those Camp Coolships is just a little bit different from the next one. It's just really cool to see how each of those environments affects the beer.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So was it, you mentioned Camp Coolship is coming up in the anniversary, one of those releases, right?
Yep. So that is going to be released on Sunday along with those other sour beers. So that's the event that we're doing at the Wood Notes Brewery here from before. So it'll be Camp Coolship, which this is a batch that we collected at the Orchard Stoic Cider, their orchard. So it's a bunch of apple trees around us. We have Carmine, which is a sour golden ale made with cherries. We have Villa Verde Rosé, which is another sour golden ale made with Tannat and Cabernet Sauvignon grapes. And those were actually grown on the property owned by the family of one of our salesmen. His name's Andrew Villaverde. So his last name gets to go on the label for this beer. So his family grapes are what went into this beer. And then Sycamore Oud Bruin, which is a sour dark ale made with some leaves and bark from sycamore trees that we foraged out in the wilderness.
I like that. So I asked that because
that's a Belgian word, right? It's old something, right?
Yeah, Old Brown. So it's a Flemish sour ale, really dark, kind of like a dark cherry balsamic vinegar kind of flavors going on.
Yeah.
So the Coolships, and the other cool thing about that is they're like 3 years in the making, right? Because you guys just let them sit over there at the Wood Note cellar for that amount of time.
Yeah, generally it's at least 2 years, sometimes more than that. So this beer that we're releasing has been a long time in the making.
So I mean, you kind of feel that when you drink like a barrel-aged stout. Sometimes they're upwards of a year or two, a year and a half, whatever, 3 years. And Camp Coolship is along those same lines, which you don't necessarily think of when you're drinking it, but it's aged for a long time. So there's a lot of time that goes into those. So
Zach, real quick, you said you've helped brainstorm and conceptualize some of these beers. Can you give us like what's one beer that like you feel a sense of ownership over in terms of like how it was conceptualized? And
so one of them that we came out with in January of this year, it's called This Beer Saves Water. We wanted a beer that really encapsulates the way that we approach kind of sustainability and environmentalism, and tells the story of this the malt that we use in all of our beers, which is Sinagua malt. So we partnered with the Nature Conservancy a few years back to try to find ways that we can help farmers in Arizona save water. And one of those ways that they recommended was they can switch away from these crops that use a ton of water in the summer when the rivers are at already low levels, to crops that use a lot less water during the summer and a little bit more during the fall and winter, when the rivers are at higher levels, where it doesn't hurt the water system as much. So we found some local farmers to switch away from these high water use crops like corn and alfalfa to make barley, and we needed a source for that barley, somewhere to go to. So Sinagua malt is what came about that. So they take this barley that local farmers have started growing, convert it into malt that all Arizona brewers can use. We buy most of their crops or most of their product each year. I think something like 80 or 85% of what they make we buy, because we use it in every single one of our beers that we make. But I know a lot of other Arizona breweries do it too. We did the math on it, and by using Sinagua malt in our beer, we are helping to save about 50 gallons of water, like per pint that a person drinks.
Holy cow!
So over the years, Sinagua has saved over, I think, 4 million gallons of water for Arizona's waterways, mostly from the Verde River. So all of that water that would have been pulled out is back in the ecosystem to sustain the plant life, the animals, and the people around that area in the Verde Valley. So This Beer Saves Water is a beer that's near and dear to me because I think it really conveys that story that like this beer literally is saving 50 gallons of water as you drink it.
Yeah, and that's a hazy IPA. Am I remembering that right?
Hazy pale ale.
Yep. Hazy pale. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, and we also, that one is more regular, right? You guys are brewing that more consistently.
Yeah, that's not quite year round at this point, but it's I would say it's every season at least it's coming out.
Yeah,
every few months that beer pop up.
So speaking of ones that pop up, this watermelon goza, it's what I like about this is there's a lot of times there's a goza like I have one in the fridge right now from Modern Times, came in the Costco pack. It's hard to drink more than one, right?
Yeah.
This goza is not like that. This is really, really nice amount of tartness, good amount of watermelon. I could drink more than one of these in the summer. It really hits nicely, and when it's 105 degrees out. So this one, this one is one of my go-tos when I go there, as long as it's on the menu. And I saw it on the menu last time we went there. But is this the first time it's been in cans, Zach?
No, but the can is new.
Okay.
So this is another new label design for us. Up until recently, the can was kind of this very dark red, sort of emblematic of what like the inside of a watermelon looks like. And we wanted to kind of lighten it up and make it more kind of summery and reflective of how light the beer is itself. So
yeah, I mean, when you pour it out, it's got that great pink tone. So yeah, I mean the can art really matches that. So it's for massive beer drinkers like me, and I don't know about Johan, but I like a good can art too, and I'll buy a beer based on can art. So Wilderness stepping up its game in the can art is that's +1 right there for me.
I think one of the things that I love so much about this beer is that it's, again, and this goes back to what I was saying about the chill, is like watermelon is not a overwhelming flavor, and this like just brings in that perfect amount of the watermelon flavor where you feel it, you taste it, you feel refreshed, you get that that sour goza with a little bit of that sea salt, like it's there, but it just goes down so smoothly that if you're not careful, you're 6 cans in and feeling it. But
it's
there's nothing wrong with that.
It's recognizable. Sometimes it goes, it doesn't have really a recognizable, that's some sort of fruit that I don't know what it is, but I know that it's very, very tart.
Yeah. No, and again, it's a style that a lot of people I think are doing more and more of, but not everyone's doing it like super well yet. It's one of those things that I think
what you see with a lot of these too is that sometimes the flavoring that you're getting, or the flavor that you're getting is flavoring, right? It's not actual fruit. It's some kind of chemical that's made to taste like this fruit. So a lot of watermelon sours will have that watermelon Jolly Rancher character that is like not quite watermelon, but it's like what candy brain has caused us to think watermelon tastes like. And I think what you're saying about this beer is that part of why it's so subtle and so nice and so like representative of what watermelon is actually like is because we squeeze literally 10,000 pounds of watermelon into just juice, and then we add that juice directly to this beer.
Yeah.
So you're getting pure Arizona grown watermelon in that, not some flavor.
Yeah. Well, it's masterfully done.
Good stuff, Zach. Thank you so much for joining us here. The other thing I wanted to mention, the downtown location, you guys just started up a Sunday evening kind of farmers market, like local makers and stuff are selling there on Sunday nights, right?
Yeah, that goes every Sunday from, I believe, 6 to 11 p.m. And it's kind of a mini farmers market featuring local producers of people who put together some like Iconic Cocktail Co. was one of our examples. So they do a lot of like mixers and bitters and things like that you make cocktails from. Recycled City, who I mentioned before, was out at the last one, and some other people who put together some apparel or jewelry or things like that, just to kind of put a showcase on these local people who are making cool art in our community.
That's awesome. I love that. I do remember seeing the sign for that on Saturday when I was there for the baseball game, and I remember thinking that that's such a cool thing. Is that something you're going to be doing pretty much every Sunday now from now on, or?
Yep. Yeah, every Sunday, 6 to 11 p.m.
Love it.
Good stuff, Zach. Thank you so much, and good luck to Wilderness on 9 years. Congrats on 9 years, and here's to 9 more here in the Valley doing good stuff.
Thanks, fellas. We'll see you at the AZ Craft Beer Awards.
I love that. Love that. See you then. Thanks, Zach.
Bye.
All right. Well, that was awesome. Super glad to have Zach on. Being able to chat with someone who knows more about the beers and is able to kind of explain the origins of them, and some of that was really cool. So hopefully we can do more of that in the coming months leading up to our festival.
Yeah, they're gonna have a rum barrel aged stout. Have you ever? I don't think I've ever had something like that. I've had a lot of like bourbon barrel aged stouts, but never from a rum barrel.
Yeah, I've had some rum and I've had some tequila. I've had some different barrel aged, wine barrel aged beers and stuff. But a rum barrel aged stout, if you use the right flavors, sounds fantastic.
Nice. So, Arizona Craft Beer Awards coming up here. We just released our here for the camera.
Oh, yeah.
Our Arizona Brewery is the new September-October issue of Phoenix Magazine. I had a hand in writing that, the East Valley Brewery section. My apologies if I skipped a couple breweries. We have words limit, pages limit. Honestly,
there's just so many breweries.
The East Valley, I could have probably written 4 to 5 pages on the East Valley, but
hey, we'll probably be doing more of this kind of thing.
Absolutely.
And of course, we're happy to highlight you at our festival. So go check this out. I think this will be on newsstands next week.
Yeah, just shipped out to subscribers this week of late August, and then on newsstands September 1st.
Okay, so September 1st, 93 craft beer destinations, curated crawls from Phoenix to Flagstaff, readers' picks from our Best of the Valley voting.
Yeah, from Best of the Valley. So I wrote about 11 or 12 of those that I know personally, and then the rest of the list will be online. We had 40 different categories, and it kind of is setting up the judging that we're doing next month in September, and which will lead up to the Craft Beer Award Festival at October 22nd on the lawn at State Farm Stadium. It's a Saturday. The Cardinals will have played on Thursday night that week. Then we have the whole lawn to ourselves on that Saturday afternoon, 12 o'clock for VIP, 1 o'clock for GA until 5 o'clock. Saturday, late October. It doesn't get any better than that. Beer in your hand, lawn on your feet.
It's going to be awesome. We're already getting, a bunch of breweries signed up for that. And we have our judging for the awards is going to happen just next month in just a few weeks. We have over 120 beers submitted to our awards, which is fantastic for our first year. I think that's such a great turnout. So it's going to be a really great time. We're really excited for it. So tickets are already on sale, azcraftbeer.com. So go check that out and snag yourself some tickets.
Yeah, follow us on Instagram, ACBA Fest. You'll find the link there. And if you go on there, use the early bird discount. It's early bird 15. If you buy tickets here in the month of August, early bird 15 discount code gets you 15% off. 15% off of a beer ticket, beer festival ticket. Might as well buy it right now, right? Just get it right now. You save yourself 15% and come and make plans to join us October 22nd out in Glendale. It's one beer fest in the West Valley hasn't been done in a long time. They have one in Wickenburg, but usually they're out in Phoenix or the East Valley. So.
And if you don't want to worry about, driving home that night, which I completely recommend not driving home after a festival like that, there's a tons of hotels right there at Westgate. It's just going to be a good time. So check us out, azcraftbeer.com, and we'll see you at the next review.